Welcome to the EPC English podcast channel. Today, we're diving into the essential topic of time management. Emma, can you share why managing our time well is so crucial in everyday life?
Absolutely. Time is our most limited resource since it's gone. We can't get it back. Studies from Stanford show that people who manage their time effectively experience less stress and higher productivity, making it a key skill.
That's a compelling point. It seems like time slips away easily, but using it wisely can really change our daily experiences. Before we get into techniques, what are some common ways people waste time?
One of the biggest culprits is digital, distraction endless, scrolling on phones or watching videos. According to a 2022 survey, adults spend over 3 hours daily on non-essential screen time, which adds up quickly.
Let's transition to personal habits. Kevin recently mentioned feeling unproductive due to his phone use. Emma, how can someone identify their own time-wasting activities?
A good approach is to track your activities for a few days. Write down everything you do and how long it takes, kind of like keeping a food diary. Patterns emerge, and it's easier to spot where time is leaking.
That makes sense. Awareness is the first step. Are there any tools or apps that can assist with this kind of self-audit?
Definitely. Apps like Rescue Time or Screen Time on iPhones automatically log your usage and provide weekly reports, making it simple to visualize how you spend your time.
Moving forward, many listeners struggle with procrastination. Why do people often delay important tasks, even when they know better?
Procrastination is often a psychological response to stress or overwhelm. The brain seeks short-term pleasure, like checking social media, instead of tackling challenging tasks. It's a classic battle between instant and delayed gratification.
That's fascinating. Can you give an example of how this plays out in a real-world scenario?
Sure. Imagine a student with a big assignment. Instead of starting early, they scroll through videos to avoid anxiety, only to feel more stressed later. Recognizing this pattern is key to breaking the cycle.
Let's discuss solutions. Emma mentioned making a daily plan. How effective are to-do lists for improving time use?
To-do lists are incredibly effective. Research from the Dominican University found that people who write down goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. Lists provide structure and motivation, reducing decision fatigue.
That's a powerful statistic. But what about people who struggle to stick to their lists?
Start smallest, only 3 to 5 priorities each day. Overloading your list leads to frustration. Checking off even one task releases dopamine, encouraging continued progress.
Let's transition to a common challenge, digital distractions. Emma suggested turning off your phone while working. How does this impact productivity?
Turning off notifications or placing your phone in another room can double your focus. A University of Texas study found that simply having your phone visible reduces cognitive capacity, even if you aren't using it.
That's surprising. Are there strategies beyond turning off devices to manage distractions?
Yes. Use website blockers like Freedom or Cold Turkey to limit access to distracting sites during work hours. Setting clear work and break times also helps your brain stay on track.
Emma also mentioned taking small breaks. How do short, scheduled breaks affect work quality and mental energy?
Short breaks prevent mental fatigue and help maintain concentration. The University of Illinois found that brief diversions from a task actually improve overall focus, counteracting the brain's tendency to tune out after prolonged effort.
Could you suggest some effective ways to spend these breaks?
Sure. Stand up and stretch, grab a glass of water, or do a quick breathing exercise. These activities refresh both mind and body, so you return ready to work.
The Pomodoro technique came up as a solution. Can you explain how this method works and why it's effective?
The Pomodoro technique involves working for 25 minutes, then taking a 5-minute break. After 4 cycles, you take a longer break. This rhythm leverages our natural attention span and reduces burnout, much like interval training for the brain.
Are there studies or examples demonstrating its effectiveness?
Yes, many tech companies recommend it. And a 2019 study found participants using Pomodoro reported 15% higher productivity and lower perceived stress compared to traditional hour-long sessions.
Not everyone works the same way. How can people personalize these time management strategies to fit their unique lifestyles?
Self-awareness is key. Some thrive with rigid schedules. Others need flexibility. Try different methods like block scheduling or task batching and observe what leaves you energized rather than exhausted.
That's a thoughtful approach. Are there warning signs that a chosen method isn't working?
If you're consistently missing tasks or feeling more stressed, it's time to adjust. Every strategy should make your day feel more manageable, not more pressured.
To make things practical, can you share real-world examples of people who improved their lives with better time management?
Certainly. Take Sarah Blakely. Founder of Spankshay attributes her success to daily goal setting and strict phone-free mornings. On a smaller scale, students who implement daily planning often see GPA improvements within a semester.
Those examples are inspiring. What's a simple first step for listeners who want to start today?
Begin by writing down tomorrow's top 3 goals tonight. This small habit can snowball into a more organized, productive lifestyle.
As we wrap up, let's review today's main strategies. Make a plan, minimize distractions, take purposeful breaks, and experiment with the Pomodoro technique. Emma, any final advice for those looking to stop wasting time?
Remember, improvement is gradual. Don't aim for perfection, celebrate small wins, and reflect on what works. Consistent practice turns good habits into second nature.
That's encouraging to hear. For our listeners, if you found this episode helpful, please like and subscribe to the EPC English podcast channel so you don't miss our next lesson.
And don't forget to revisit these techniques regularly. Continuous learning is the key to mastering time management and to mastering English. See you next time.
Welcome, everyone, to today's episode where we're diving deep into the importance of taking risks in life. Emma, why do you think risk-taking is often linked to personal growth and self-improvement?
Great question. Taking risks forces us out of our comfort zones and challenges us to develop new skills. Think of it like a muscle. The more you stretch it, the stronger it becomes. Growth rarely happens when we're standing still.
That's a powerful analogy, but people often hesitate because they fear failure. How do you see that fear impacting their willingness to embrace new challenges?
Fear of failure is natural, but studies show that people who take calculated risks tend to achieve higher satisfaction in their lives. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman's research points out that regret from not trying often outweighs regret from failing.
Let's unpack the psychology here. What actually drives risk aversion, and why do our brains default to playing it safe?
Our brains are wired to protect us from harm, both physical and emotional. The amygdala, which processes fear, sounds the alarm when we face uncertainty. However, in the modern world, this response can prevent us from pursuing life-changing opportunities.
So, it's almost like our internal safety system is a bit outdated for today's challenges. How can someone recognize when their fear is holding them back unnecessarily?
A good indicator is when your reasons for saying no are based more on what-ifs than actual evidence. Self-reflection and journaling can help people distinguish between healthy caution and paralyzing fear.
To make this more concrete, can you share a real-world story where taking a risk paid off in unexpected ways?
Absolutely. Take Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She invested her savings into a new product idea despite having no background in fashion. Today, she's a billionaire. Her story shows that bold moves can lead to monumental outcomes.
That's inspiring. But not everyone becomes a billionaire. What about more everyday examples?
Certainly. Even switching careers, moving to a new city, or starting a hobby can lead to meaningful connections and personal fulfillment, as research from the University of Chicago found in 2019.
Let's pivot to the difference between calculated risks and reckless gambles. How can people tell the difference?
Calculated risks involve research, planning, and a clear understanding of possible outcomes. Recklessness, by contrast, ignores consequences and relies on luck. Imagine crossing a busy street with your eyes closed. That's recklessness, not bravery.
So, preparation is key. Are there tools or frameworks people can use to assess potential risks?
Definitely. SWOT analysis evaluating strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat scan clarify if a risk is worth taking. It's like drawing a map before starting a journey.
Culture also shapes our attitudes toward risk. How do perspectives differ globally?
In the US, risk-taking is often celebrated as entrepreneurial spirit. In contrast, many East Asian cultures prioritize stability and avoiding loss. According to Hofstede's Cultural Dimensions, societies with high uncertainty avoidance tend to discourage bold moves.
Interesting. Does that mean people in risk-averse cultures miss out on growth opportunities, or do they just pursue them differently?
Often, they innovate within set boundaries or take smaller, iterative risks. For example, Japan's approach to continuous improvement, or Kaizen, encourages gradual change rather than dramatic leaps.
Let's talk about failure, a common outcome of risk. Why is it essential to reframe our view of failure when taking risks?
Failure is a powerful teacher. Thomas Edison famously said he found 10 ways not to make a light bulb. Research from Stanford shows that learning from failure builds resilience, increases creativity, and leads to better decision-making over time.
That's reassuring. What practical steps can people take to bounce back from setbacks?
Reflect on what went wrong without self-blame, seek feedback, and try again with adjustments. Building a support network also helps, as sharing experiences with others normalizes setbacks.
For those who feel overwhelmed by big changes, what's your advice on starting with small, manageable risks?
Micro risks are like dipping your toes into the water before swimming. Start by speaking up in meetings or trying a new hobby. According to Harvard Business Review, small successes boost confidence, making bigger risks feel more possible.
That sounds encouraging. Can you give an example of how micro risks can snowball into significant growth over time?
Absolutely. Someone who begins by networking at events may eventually land a new job opportunity. Each small step compounds, much like interest in a savings account.
Zooming out, how does risk-taking drive innovation and societal progress?
Innovation thrives on risk. Consider the moon landing. NASA scientists accepted massive uncertainties. Today, companies like SpaceX push boundaries further. Without risk, we stagnate. With it, we unlock breakthroughs in technology, medicine, and beyond.
So, would you say society needs both risk-takers and cautious planners?
Absolutely. A balance is crucial. Risk-takers generate ideas, while planners ensure safety and sustainability. Both roles are vital for collective advancement.
Let's address internal barriers. What mindset shifts help people become more comfortable with uncertainty and risk?
Adopting a growth mindset is transformative. Carol Dweck's research shows that viewing abilities as developable encourages experimentation. Embracing curiosity over perfection and seeing setbacks as valuable data points can rewire our approach to risk.
That's practical advice. How might someone develop this mindset in daily life?
Try setting learning goals instead of performance goals. For example, aim to explore a new skill rather than be the best. Celebrate effort and adaptability, not just outcomes.
To wrap up, what concrete steps can listeners take to build their own risk-taking plans?
Start by identifying areas where you feel stuck, then brainstorm small risks you could take. Set clear intentions, track progress, and reflect on outcomes. Remember, incremental change is still progress.
And for those still hesitant, any final words of encouragement?
Absolutely. Life is a series of experiments, not a single test. Every step outside your comfort zone is a victory, regardless of the outcome. Trust yourself and give growth a chance.
Thank you for listening to today's lesson. If this video helped you, please like it and subscribe to our channel. Also, check out our other videos to practice more English every day. See you in the next lesson.